Our next speaker today will be talking about business operations and financial management. Our speaker is Joanne Berg. She's been in the financial and operation management for over 32 years. For the past 15 years, she's been the CFO of Spectrum Concepts, which her husband founded. She's transitioning out of her role to follow her passion to help nonprofits and make a difference in the world. She's worked with many nonprofits as a volunteer, as a pro bono consultant, and has served on many boards. So once again, you're getting somebody that has been on both sides of the spectrum, working with a nonprofit, working with a foundation. She's on our board of directors at Social Venture Partners, and she chairs our business operations resource team. So please help me welcome Joanne Berg.
Thanks, Peggy, and I want to thank Parker for warming you guys up after lunch so that I didn't have to do it, and we can run right into the really important, interesting, I think, subject matter today. A little bit about me that Peggy didn't tell you. I am a CFO. I'm a CPA by trade. I've spent my entire career running companies and advising companies, both on the for-profit and the nonprofit side. And my particular passion is to help entrepreneurs, whether they're running a for-profit or a nonprofit company, make a difference in the world. And so that's the way I come at this project, and I hope that you'll learn a little something today that maybe you wouldn't expect. How many thought you were going to see me up here with a green eye shade and a calculator and, you know, really, really wonder about how boring this was going to be and everything else? Hopefully not. Hopefully this is going to be fun, it should be interactive, and I think that it's going to be really, really valuable for everybody. It would really help me out when I'm making my presentation if I could get a quick show of hands. How many board members do I have here today? Wow, that's fantastic. How many executive directors? Okay, and what about development staff? Okay, financial staff? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Here's what we're going to try to talk about today. We're going to do about 20 minutes on just the general topic of business operations, and we're going to talk about that in some detail, but since it does impact every operation so differently, we won't be able to get super detailed. So I'll stick around after the session at 3 o'clock for people who have specific questions. Then we're going to go and talk about something that I didn't coin this term, but I think it's very, very appropriate, the nonprofit starvation cycle, to kind of give you guys a feel for why you are dealing with what you're dealing with right now in terms of funding capacity. And that's what we're all about here at Social Venture Partners, is all about building capacity so that you become scalable, replicable, efficient, and effective in pursuing your mission. We're going to talk about financial management, which is a very big subject. Then we're going to start drilling down into financial statements themselves. And so if you've ever wondered how to read that thing, I'm going to show you how. We're going to do some financial analysis. How do we know how strong our operation is? What can we do better? We're going to get into things like ratios and what I call benchmarking, which is how to compare yourself to similar organizations in your same space, which can be very, very helpful internally in trying to determine whether or not you're doing things effectively and properly. Then we're going to start talking about operational capacity, what happens when you grow, and how that affects your numbers. And we all know that there's lots of people who look at our numbers, and we're going to get into that as well. And then we're going to touch a little bit on working with those pesky rating agencies. And that'll be toward the end of the presentation. It's not going to apply to everybody, but if you're on a growth cycle, sooner or later it will. So I hope it'll be interesting to you. And then I'm going to share with you many, many resources that are available to you online in this area. So let's move on. This is a very big question. Why are business operations important? Why are we in business as a not-for-profit? We're here to solve social problems, right? Why are we worried about things like accounting and finance and office operations and all that other kind of stuff? We're here to serve people, okay? That's an attitude that I get all the time. And it's very understandable, completely understandable. I refer to business operations sometimes as non-program operations. It's another way to think about it. Sometimes different words help different people think about things in different ways. But the fact of the matter is that business operations is a critical part of your organizational capacity. I don't care if you're in business to make a profit, to sell widgets, to end world hunger, or to solve the problem of world peace. You still need that back end to make that happen. It's critical to your capacity to take care of what you're here to take care of. So what specifically do I mean when I talk about business operations? I kind of like this. And the thing that I find all the time is that people put the cart before the horse. Okay? Now, this is not my horse, although I have one in my backyard. I'm a very lucky person. And if I didn't, my horse actually knows how to pull a cart. And he can't pull a cart that's much bigger than himself. Okay? He's about 1,000 pounds. And I've driven him. It's really fun. And he can pull about 1,000 pounds. That's it. He can't pull more than that. So what would happen if I put a little tiny pony in front of this cart? Okay? I'm not going to get very far very soon. And my mission is going to be compromised. By the same token, I don't need a Clydesdale either. Okay? So it's all about matching your resources with your needs. Here it is in words. Business operations in a not-for-profit organization represents all of the activities that we need to support our programs, to analyze and make decisions, to support our data flow, and to come up with those important outcome measurements that Sherry talked to you about this morning. And Ray talked to you a little bit in the fund development workshop about that as well, how funders are looking at measurable outcomes. You've got to have some kind of a system in place to track this stuff. It's just not optional anymore. So we're talking about bookkeeping, financial accounting, managerial accounting, which is keeping track of things that don't have to do with money, oftentimes. Things like number of students served, things like number of homeless people housed for 6 months or more. Those kind of things come under the managerial accounting hat, and I teach this class at UCSD Extension. If anybody wants to come and take it, let me know. And outcome measurement. Managerial accounting is also sort of when we mesh dollars with numbers. So one of the things we did recently for our investees here at Social Venture Partners is we calculated for them how much it actually cost them in terms of financial resources to service one child for 1 hour of their after-school program. And they were shocked at what they were spending to deliver that service. And as part of that calculation, we were able to come up with all kinds of ways that they could be much more effective and serve a bigger population for the same dollar investment. Now, what do you think their funders are going to do when they get that information? Okay? So it's not hypothetical. This stuff is real. Database management. Okay, I think Ray beat this one to death, and I'm going to talk to you more about it, but you can't have a viable organization without it. And it's part of your business operations. Okay? And IT is another one. Investment in systems and software. Now, sometimes IT is part of our program. Volunteer San Diego, for example, has this incredible website matching service. 211, which has all of the infrastructure around the phone bank services. So sometimes technology can serve two purposes, but it's absolutely critical for your organizational capacity. Here's another list. HR. Benefits, legal services, insurance, payroll processing. Payroll processing is a really good one. How many people here try to do their own payroll? Okay, we'll get to that. Payment gateways, things like when you get online payments from your website or PayPal or those kind of things. I'm talking about payment gateways. All that's got to be managed. Okay, your banking relationships, treasury investments. Hopefully you have some. That would be nice, huh? Office management, just plain old administrative, phones, whatever it takes to run that day-to-day business. So I'm going to just take a second and talk a little bit more about donor management. Donor management